Welcome back, guys. This is the Anime Degens BS Hour, episode 21. I'm just here with Dan today. Tyler's power is still out, so keep him in your thoughts. Hopefully, he'll be able to take a nice hot shower once it's on sometime this fucking week. So they were saying 5,000 people still don't have power in his area?
Yeah, in his county alone, and I think it was closer to 17,000 through the 3 counties around him. So,
dang.
Thoughts and prayers, baby.
Yeah, y'all pray for that part of Kentucky. They're going through it right now. But guys, we have 2 little segments for you guys today. The first being our summer 2023 weekly rundown intro. Bangers. And then we're gonna do a segment called "Did Someone Say Mid?" which we will explain when we get around to it. But did you want us to get us started with some news, Dan?
Yeah, we got quite a bit of news today, surprisingly. We checked it out, and to start, our boy Tyler will be very excited to hear that Oshinoko is getting a second season. I think it just ended Wednesday, last week, and it's already in production for season 2. So that's really exciting for all the fans of Oshinoko.
Yes, if you follow his Twitter, you know he was excited. So good for Tyler. I think he actually wrote this next one too. So we have the one-shot Naruto manga about Minato is slated for July 18th release. He's definitely going to be reading that. I think that is his favorite character of all time. He picks him for all the challenges. Of course, Tyler, we got to give you some shit for that.
This is one of those ones where if you don't read manga, you probably should, just for this, because I don't know if it'll ever get animated. So it's going to be a 55-page one-off. So
okay,
it's going to be pretty long, and that's going to be
awesome. Yeah, they're never going to animate this unless they get really desperate for some Naruto content.
It's going to be a thick Shonen Jump that week, folks.
Thick boy.
Awesome. Let's got some really cool news, actually, in my opinion. So My Hero Academia and the NBA are doing a fashion collab.
Sheesh.
So we're going to be getting NBA My Hero merch. There's going to be 8 teams that they're going to include in this. The Boston Celtics, my boys. Chicago Bulls, Dallas Mavericks, Golden State Warriors, LA Lakers, Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, the Philly 76ers, and the Portland Trailblazers. So if you're a fan of any of those teams, keep an eye on the Crunchyroll store as well as a few other outlets. I don't know them off the top of my head, but get yourself some merch.
You know, I'm a Charlotte sports fan. We've been starving for some years now, and of course we don't get a collaboration. We get no love down this way, bro. The Hornets get no love.
You've been starving for years, hence the reason you're not part of this collaboration, dude.
I mean, what about the fucking Knicks, dog?
Did they make the playoffs this year?
Bro, it don't fucking matter if they made the playoffs. They haven't won a goddamn championship since your dad was born.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's all the teams that were in the playoffs this year, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I think so. I don't follow the NBA that closely, so
all of these teams made the playoffs. I know that much, but yeah, out of all these, I'd probably have to go with a Heat jersey. I just like how they rock, bro. But yeah, this is gonna be some drip. They can really pull off some nice designs with this shit. Yeah. So next, guys, we got Dragon Ball Superhero. The film is coming to Crunchyroll on July 12th. They're actually releasing 15 other Dragon Ball films over the course of the next month and a half or so. So they started with about 8 of them on the 22nd of June. So this is pretty dope. If you haven't seen a lot of the movies, which I haven't, I've only seen 4 or 5, go check that shit out.
Dude, the Dragon Ball Z movies are all so freaking mid. It's hilarious. And none of them actually matter to the story.
The most recent Brawly one was actually pretty fucking good.
I'm talking the old ones.
The older ones, not great.
Old ones, not great.
I think Dragon Ball had a couple of movies, like the original Dragon Ball, not like Dragon Ball Z, and they were all right. But yeah, none of them are part of the actual main story or canon, but some of them are entertaining.
Definitely. Well, you want to get into our introduction of the summer 2023 weekly rundown?
Yeah, guys. So with summer 2023 lineup coming, next week for us? So we want to give you a chance to get to know some of the shows that we're going to cover. We'll be doing a quick catch up and recap, and then some synopsis for some of the new shows. So a few of them are continuing and a couple, I think one or two are actually just new shows. So Dan, start us off with our bottom pitch, man.
Definitely. Yeah. So I do want to say before this gives you guys a chance to watch the episodes before we review them because they all obviously have to come out before we do our little spiel. So like now you got a
Yes,
little watch list. You're good to go.
yes, and I do want to make sure that our audience knows next week's episodes will not come out on Tuesday and Thursday. They will actually come out on Saturday, July 8th. They might run over to the 9th, but they will be out that weekend. Me and Den are going to be out of town. We're going to be playing some golf. So y'all pray for my boy.
He's not ready.
Okay.
But to start us off with the bottom bitch, the one she's always around, she's never gonna leave. Probably never in our lifetimes, no and Oda. We're talking about One Piece. One Piece is still the anchor for our weekly rundown. It's our only weekly show we've been watching. You guys aren't ready for what's coming. Nobody is. Like with the heat they've dropped animation wise for like the last like 2 months.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about what One Piece has been doing this year, man. It's been something serious. It's just banger after banger after banger. Keeps getting better. And then the story's also coming to a head. It's going nuts, bro.
Yeah, we're finally getting to the end of the Wano arc after 4 years and about 190 episodes or 200 episodes
Holy shit.
by the end of it.
Yeah, that is about 4 years.
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. But some of the things we're going to be looking forward to is the climax of the battle with Luffy and Kaido, because we all know that's on the way.
Yes.
If you haven't been spoiled, you are in for a fucking treat. But if you have a dial-up internet connection at this point, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, man. I like I tell you all the time, man. I can't even scroll in peace. It's Twitter will have you fucked up with that, but I'm still excited. I know what's coming, but I'm still very, very excited to see how they introduce it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And you haven't actually seen it in action, so like,
No, I've only seen I guess drawings and shit like
profile
that.
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a little look into Kaido's backstory as well, as we do with every major villain for One Piece. So I'm excited for that. You want to get us into our first show of the new summer 2023 weekly rundown?
Yeah, man. So the first new show that we're gonna do is Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. This is one of the it is the most highly anticipated show for this summer. I think that's hands down. There's been many polls, and they've been blowing other series out of the water. As always, this is going to be produced by Mappa. You know, AOT, Hell's Paradise, Vinland Saga, banger. And it's going to be releasing Thursday, July 6th. So it is going to be on our next rundown. Very, very excited. Y'all get ahead of us. Y'all go ahead and watch that. I want to also give you guys a quick recap of last season and kind of what to expect. I'm not going to spoil you guys with this, but just what to expect for season 2 as well. So, Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 ended with an epic fight between Yuji, Nobara, and 2 of the 3 cursed womb brothers, namely Iso and Kichetsu. So, being one of the most popular anime of the series of all time, the Jujutsu Kaisen circle around the teller Itadori Yuji is going to be thrown headfirst into the world of spirit curses after an encounter with Megami. I don't know where I got that from, but it was not good for the synopsis. But yeah, it ended with a fight, guys, and I think the last thing that happened before we got out of there was Sukuna actually ate one of his fingers. I think it was, what is it, the 8th finger? 7th finger? Don't remember. Using Itadori's hand. Of course, this is anime. I've said this before, and he just spawned a mouth on his hand and ate it. So, but season 2 will actually be covering 2 different manga arcs. The first being Gojo's past, where they're going to get some backstory on Gojo, and then most likely Getzo. They were good friends in the past. Now they are fucking enemies. So I'm excited to see how that happened, man. And then after that, we'll be going back to our main storyline with Yuji, Megami, Nobara, Sukuna, and the rest of the cast that we've come to know and love, man. But yeah, I'm excited about things like, it's a pretty complex story and their powers as well. And one thing that's made me really, really excited. I don't know about you, Dan. People that have read the manga tell us this is probably one of the best arcs coming up. And we should be very, very excited. I think that's a lot of, where a lot of that hype is coming from in general. Um, but yeah, then also just understanding Geto and Gojo's past. And of course, I know a lot of people are going to watch it for this, is that top tier animation we had come to expect from Mappa. Um, they let y'all down a little bit with Hell's Paradise. I've heard, not me, but we'll be right back at it here soon.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I'm really excited for JJK to continue, and I'm especially excited for, like you said, the Shibuya incident arc, which is Gojo and Geto in the past. Super excited for that. The drippy looking
That's
young
the second.
Gojo.
That's the second arc, actually.
Oh, is
That's
that the
where.
second arc?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
It's going
okay.
to be a pretty large incident. I've had it spoiled because I have to, I've got to research for y'all. Got to make sure we're right. But it's
Okay,
gonna
so
get lit, bruh. It's
okay,
gonna get
that's
lit.
gotcha. I didn't know that. I thought that was the name of the first arc, but that's really awesome regardless. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think I gotta do a little catching up, maybe a little YouTube recap or something on my end, because I feel like it's been a while since I've watched JJK. So
Yeah, I think we had like the movie come out in 2021, and before that, maybe that spring that anime finished up. So it's been a couple of years. So that's fair.
definitely, man. I'm really excited for JJK for sure. I mean, who if you're not excited for JJK, you just don't like shonen. I mean, like
Right.
I feel like it's following the same archetype as the other big shows right now with Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer. It's just kid gets magic powers, fights demons or devils, and we have awesome action.
Yeah, and like I like that a lot of anime are going from like say like the one sole main character and everybody else is a side character. You still have a main character. You always kind of have to have a protagonist, but um, they're doing like the groups of three and with like one more serious person, and then the wacky couple that fight all the time. And I've been liking that formula. They've done that with Demon Slayer, like you said, and then JJK's been doing a great job at it.
And
But
Chainsaw Man too. It's
yeah,
the formula for new shonen anime is pretty set in
it's
stone, I feel like.
fucking working too, boy.
Hey man, a lot of people are enjoying it, so you can't stray from that.
No, no.
Awesome. So the next show we're going to be covering, and we made Bass catch up on this one, is going to be Bleach: The 1,000-Year Blood War Part 2. This is going to release on Saturday, July 8th. It's done by Studio Pierrot, which we all know for Naruto, and they've also done Black Clover. So the 1,000-Year Blood War arc occurs roughly 2 years after Sasuke Aizen's defeat in the original Bleach anime. The complacent, arrogant Soul Reapers were thrown into chaos when their longtime enemy, the spiritually talented Quincy tribe, launched an all-out assault on both Hueco Mundo and the Soul Society itself, with Quincy King Huach determined to avenge his people's defeat against the original 13 captains centuries ago. The first battle, which was part 1, devastated the Soul Society until Huach finally departed with Captain Yamamoto, spoiler here if you haven't seen it, being killed, unfortunately. He's the GOAT in action, and several other captains having their Bankai stolen.
So I want you to stop right there. That fight with Captain Yamamoto or whatever was fucking nuts. We had a discussion I think months ago at this time. I hadn't watched any Bleach, and he was like, who's your favorite like old man or like old man sensei? And I was like, Rochi from Dragon Ball, and he was like, "Nah, it's not." But this guy's fucking nuts. He summons flames from hell, and it was an amazing scene. The animation it was very very high quality. They did feel like they did these characters justice, especially after me watching at least most of the anime before this. I had got like a little recap because I didn't have time to finish it all up. It's long, but yeah, it was crazy to see all of like the different Soul Reapers like getting just waxed very easily, low diffed. And
Yeah. The crazy thing is it's just by humans too. Like, I mean, yeah, the Quincy's have like a higher spiritual pressure, but like they're still people. They're not Shinigami or anything like that. So that's fucking
right.
nuts.
Yeah, no, they were hell bent on getting their revenge. So great
So
stuff, man.
definitely why I'm excited for this show. And this is definitely one that I forced on Bass and Tyler because it is peak, in my opinion. The first arc or not arc, the first part, I guess, is probably in my top 3 anime of all time, up there with Full Metal and One Piece. It is that good in my
Damn.
opinion. Yeah.
God damn. Hold on. What?
Yeah. I love Bleach.
Okay. Hey,
I grew
go
up
for
with
it, bro.
Bleach, and
Okay.
like
Okay.
I read this probably 11 or 12 years ago. I don't know when it was releasing, but I finished Bleach and they said they weren't releasing anymore, and there was one more arc in the manga. And I was like, all right, this is the first time I ever read comic books. We're in.
Well, at least they got you to read the manga. Was that the first manga? That was the first manga you read?
Fully. Like,
Fully. Okay.
yeah, I had read like some like random stuff. Like I think I had one called Mar. It was like Marchin something. I don't know. It was a whack shonen, but
Okay.
homie had a big hammer. That's all I remember. It was on Toonami for a while. I will say that. But also I'm really excited. So we're getting an introduction to Ichigo fighting an old friend. I mean, based on the idea of Soul Reapers versus Quincy's, it's pretty obvious what's coming up. They've also shown it in the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, even outside of the trailer, there's just the cover art for part 2 is like it has Ichigo on one side, and I forget his friend's name.
Ashita?
Yeah, on the
Oreo,
other,
yeah.
and they're like facing away from each other. So it's gonna get hot. But like I feel like I felt this coming for a long time. Even in the first part of the anime.
Yeah, they were always button heads, but they were still boys, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's what you look for in a friend. Somebody who's gonna butt heads with you on stuff.
true. Somebody got to check you.
Another reason I'm really excited is the animation and pacing has been so fucking good for Thousand Year Blood War. Like they're doing like 5 chapters an episode, so it's just flying through it. That was one of my big issues with the weekly back in the day, along with every shonen anime from like the early mid 2000s, is that the pacing sucked.
Yeah, they used to drag them shits like for real. That was my big problem with having to watch Bleach because I had not watched it before. We were talking about doing a Thousand Year Blood War, and I mean, I got like 170 episodes in, no filler. I didn't watch any filler, and I felt like it just was dragging. The fights were cool. I like a few of the characters, like Chad. He's fucking sweet.
Chad's the boy.
Yeah, he really is. He's everybody needs a Chad. But yeah, the pacing was really really killing me, especially when we are watching like weeklies that finish up in 12 episodes, 16 episodes. It was hard to like sit down and be like, okay, I need to watch this.
Yeah, I mean that's any show that, like I was saying. I mean, the pacing in Naruto was brutal.
Yeah,
One Piece has always had brutal pacing, even though it's gotten worse. It's just what happens with weekly shows, you know.
for sure.
The last reason I'm really excited is just more Otahime with those big old cannons and loaves of bread, dude.
Yo, I saw that. So like I said, I got like I did like a recap for the second half of like the main anime, and that one like she's still like normal looking, and then I saw her in Thousand Year Blood War, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Hey man,
oh
2
man,
years is a long time.
yeah, I was like, I was talking about sister. I was like, look at what they did to my girl, and she just shook her head and walked off. But yeah, no, I was not expecting that shit, bro.
Thank you, Kubo.
Shit.
We appreciate you, brother.
Shit.
Awesome. You want to get us into our next show, Bass?
Yes, Ruroni Kenshin remake, baby. This is what I'm excited about. This is probably going to be my favorite of out of the 5 or so shows we're gonna watch. So this one's actually coming out on Friday, July 7th from Linden Films. They've done some other anime like Tokyo Revengers and then Berserk. I don't think many people like the Berserk adaptation, but we're gonna leave that alone. So just to give you guys a synopsis, I know some people that are newer to anime may not have watched this. I've seen most of Kenshin just way back in the day. I tried to do a rewatch, but your boy got busy. But just to set the scene for you guys, the series is set in feudal Japan and chronicles the story of Batosai the Manslayer, a legendary assassin whose sword skills were completely unrivaled. So he played a crucial part in the rebuilding of of Japan during the Age of Restoration, and then he kind of just disappears without a trace, only to reappear like several years later, and is a wandering samurai now known as Himura Kenshin. Dan, I know that you probably watched this as a kid. Was this on Toonami? I don't remember if it was or not.
Yeah, it was, baby.
Okay, that's how I got this.
This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it
yeah.
was it was Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day with Dragon Ball Z, and I think Gundam Wing was in the lineup at that time.
Gundam Wing was definitely there. I remember that
That
shit.
was like peak Toonami, in my opinion. Those are like probably the four best shows I remember watching as a kid. So
True. Yeah, I can't remember which one came on first, but yeah, Ruroni Kenshin is one of my childhood favorites. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. One, because it is a classic that I grew up watching, and I don't remember all the details, especially of the later half of the story. So I don't remember a lot of the villains. I don't remember much of the side characters, but the first probably 40 episodes of the original I remember pretty well. Um, and it's gonna. I hope this brings a new crowd to this anime, man. It looks beautiful. I think some people might have a slight problem with the animation as it was when it came out, which I completely understand after you get done watching JJK and have to go watch old Ruroni Kenshin and be like, okay, like what am I really doing? Um, but I think one thing a lot of the original Ruroni Kenshin fan base is excited about is the new remake is actually going to have some differences. So they're going to go explore. It's gonna be true to the plot, but it's gonna explore a little bit more with the manslayer version of Kenshin, and we're gonna get to see a lot more of that. And that with some crispy new 2023 fucking animations, it's gonna be nuts because this guy's nice, y'all. If y'all haven't seen this guy, is nice with it. Um, but we're getting our same old cast. I'm really attached to those characters. Some of the villains I'm excited to see, um, and be reanimated in some more recent technology like Makoto. Um,
Shishio,
yeah,
yes,
Shishio
dude.
Makoto. Yes,
I'm so excited to see Shishio again. He is a scary
uh,
guy.
dude, for real, bro, for real. So
And
goddamn.
yeah, I'm really excited. Watching the trailer, so it looked like they incorporated. There was a Rurouni Kenshin movie that came out in like I think 2000 or 2001 that kind of dove into his backstory a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the trailer, it looked like they were incorporating that into the show a little bit. So that'll be really exciting because
Yeah,
that
I
means that we're
wonder.
gonna.
I wonder if it's gonna be like just stuff from that movie, or if they're gonna do things that were outside of it. I
I'm
don't
not
know,
sure, but
but that's
we're
why I'm
gonna
excited. Yeah.
we're gonna get to see Kenshin use the correct side of his blade for once because his whole thing is he's a massive pacifist now after just killing hundreds of people. And he fights with the backside of his katana, so he doesn't actually slash anybody. He just breaks bones and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited for this. If you grew up in the 90s and you liked anime at the time, this is right up your alley. And even though it is older, I definitely recommend you go watch the original because it is top tier anime in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it stands up pretty well. I was watching it earlier this year. I think in January and February I was rewatching it, which is why I remember the first half of the story a little bit better. But it stands up. People are a little bit more picky about animation, but it's not bad. It's just not what we get nowadays naturally. But yeah, please check this out. If you haven't seen it, you got to. You gotta. But
Yeah,
you want to.
all you young kids just got to understand that stuff made in the 90s isn't going to be as flashy and bright, but the story is probably going to be better. So
Yes.
that's what I got
Yes.
to say about that.
That's all we had back in the day now. All right, you want to get started with our next one?
Yeah, so this is actually the last show we'll be watching. So last season we did 6 shows and it was a lot, especially with one of them releasing 4 o'clock on Monday when we record at like 7:30, 8 o'clock on Monday.
That shit was brutal, bro.
So we made a rule of no Monday anime, and we decided to do 5 this season to see if we can keep the episodes a little more in check lengthwise for you guys. I know that almost 2 hours of your day it's a lot, so we're gonna try and keep it a little more in check with 5 shows. So our last show we're doing is called Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. It releases on Sunday, July 9th, and it's by Bug Films. And this is actually the first anime they've done from the studio. So I'm really excited about that. Basically, a quick synopsis of it is Akira's life has lost any shine after spending years toiling away for a soul-crushing company. But when a zombie apocalypse ravages his town, it gives him the push he needs to live for himself. So what does he do? He goes on a mission to complete his 100-item bucket list.
Did you get to check the trailer for this?
I watched the trailer a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
before we
it
picked
looks really, really fun, man. It looks
It
really, really
does.
fun.
Like, it shows Akira like toiling away at his job, making minimum wage, and he's like walking to work one day, and he notices the zombie apocalypse, and he just falls to his knees, so happy, like, I don't have to go to work today. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that resonates with me so well, dude.
Imagine the end of the world is fucking coming, and you're just excited you gotta go. You don't have to go to work. I like my job, but this still resonates with me. There's always times where you're like, man, I could just use go for a walk in the park or play some golf, go hang out with my friends instead of waking up and grinding it out.
Oh,
So,
dude, I feel like anybody who works like a 9 to 5 grind life, 40 hours, 50 hours a week kind of thing can just relate to that, you know?
yeah, and I mean, that's the basis of a good story, man. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna have a pretty cool story. And I hope they kind of make a lot of jokes about his whole 9 to 5 life and stuff like that, because that would just keep it very, very relatable.
Definitely. And one of the main points of the show is that he has a crush on a girl at work, but he's too nervous to tell her. So I'm assuming that's on the bucket list. So we're getting a little Tyler action in there. I'm sure he'll be excited for that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I believe the genres for this were like seinen, psychological, supernatural, and drama. So
Okay.
it doesn't look like we're getting a shonen, but we're getting a really fun show. It kind of gives me like Mob Psycho vibes, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see what you're saying.
But the animation in the trailer looked really solid, and it'll be a great change of pace from all the kick-ass shonen we got going on in the weekly rundown this season. So
Yeah, this is going to be sort of like a palate cleanser for us every week. I feel like we know we have bangers as far as these remakes and these these new seasons coming out, and then of course One Piece, Peak Piece. But yeah, I think Zom's going to be a great addition to the rundown.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like not at all like the Insomniacs After School of this season, but it's going to be that for us. You know, it's going to be like, oh, we don't have to watch like 6 episodes of fighting. We get to watch like 4 episodes of fighting. And
100%.
One of some dude learning how to fly a kite or something. I don't know what's on his bucket list.
Yeah, and I want to see what Bug Films is made of, man. This is their first anime, bro. So I feel like they have to come out swinging.
I feel like they do.
If you worth the hair on your ass, your first project's gonna go hard. You know what I'm saying?
It's just one of those things that you don't know. I mean, obviously, if it's their first anime as a studio, they most likely poach some animators from other studios. So I'd be interested to see if I see like a kind of like a resemblance to another series or something like that in the animation, you know, because
right.
If you look at Studio Trigger, it was 2 guys from another studio. The one that did Gurren Lagann left and started their own studio, which is Studio Trigger. So I'm curious to see if it has that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But with a name like Bug Films, I am a little bit worried.
Yeah, when we were writing this, I was like, who the fuck is Bug Films? And of course, I don't know who they are. This is their first anime. But I do want to warn everybody that this will actually not be on our first rundown. This is coming out July 9th. So that's the day after we're going to post both of our episodes.
Well, no, we're going to do those for Tuesday's rundown. The one we're recording on Saturday is going to be for the 4 finales.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're not doing a 10-show rundown, dude. I would blow my brains out.
I'd have to take the gun out of your hand afterwards. But
No,
yeah, so all of these are going to be on our rundown. Cool. All coming in at one time. Very, very good.
Yep. So this will be the weekly rundown that we release on Tuesday, July 11th. Boom. Well, did somebody say mid? Question mark. So what we're gonna do in this segment, and unfortunately Tyler's not here for it because I think he has some good shows on here that we haven't watched yet. We're basically gonna share some anime that might be considered mid that we actually really enjoyed. And, they could be slept on. I don't know. The caveat is, like I said, that we really enjoy them. So if you've only seen the most popular anime out there, like our boy Bass usually is,
That's me. I ain't gonna lie.
You might find some less popular shows here. I think the two that I picked are pretty popular,
Okay.
but I just think they're really mid, but I enjoyed them, if that makes sense.
Right, right. And yeah, I wouldn't say my bag's like not deep when it comes to anime, but like I don't have much time for like just shit. You know what I'm saying? If I get 5 episodes into something and I think it's like hard mid, I usually just stop. So it was hard for me to come up with two, but I think I have two really good ones. Um, but yeah, like you said, if you've only seen the most popular things, mostly like myself, um, this is for you. But I think the first one I have here, not many people have seen. I haven't even heard many people talk about it, and it came out several years ago. So it's called Saga of Tanya the Evil. This is I fucking love this show. It's the 2017 anime produced by Nut Studio. This is their
N-
biggest anime. Nut,
Nut.
nut.
We
Um,
need we need a nut button right now. Nut. Nut.
so it was adapted from the light novel by Carlos and so the story is actually an isekai that focuses on an atheist salaryman who right before his death like meets God and he doesn't even have enough respect for God to call him God. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you being X because I don't know who the fuck you are. Um, he's an absolute savage. So in order to make um pretty much Tanya believe in a higher power. He's like, I'm going to strip everything you have. You're a successful businessman. Fuck you. I'm going to reincarnate you in a terrible, terrible, terrible fucking situation. And so he's like, you're going to have to rise out of this, and you're probably going to get some faith along the way. And as he rises out of it, being X places a few more traps in his way. Um, but I actually found out about this anime from watching a YouTube video. I can't remember who the YouTube creator is, but they pretty much do like hood edits of like anime. And I hope somebody can like tell me my Discord who it is. Like I can't find his page, but he does like the Air Force Black Air Force Energy round table, and Tanya's like goaded on that shit. And so she's a fucking menace, bro. So she does shit like kill her own troops. She's talking shit straight to God's face, bro. Won't even call him God, call him being X. Um, this is one of the most like savage anime, and it's so ridiculous because like the entire time Tanya's like 10 years old, bro. So like he gets into the military and he's bossing grown ass military vets, like generals and shit around, like just talking shit. I don't want to get too much into the savagery because those are some of my favorite parts of it. I want y'all to go check this out and see for yourself. The first season came out in 2017. Like I said, it's 12 episodes. And the kicker is it's a good time to watch this, bro, because the second season is actually supposed to air either in winter 2023 or the spring of 2024. So knock it out in a week, easy. You're gonna laugh. It's fun. It's very, very fun. Just because Tanya is a savage. She's a god of war. And just to like explain how savage she is, bro. Like how savage the anime is. You don't even get introduced to like any good guys until like more than halfway through the first season.
Wait, so it's just all assholes.
Dude, like there's some like decent people, but like no major good people that can oppose her like whatsoever.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, bro. She kicks people's fucking face in. She gets to train her own battalion, which is one of my favorite parts. There's a certain soldier she just boxes up. It's just like a little blonde chick. She gets reincarnated. I want to tell you guys into World War One Germany. So the Germans are on a little power trip at that time in history, and she's tripping with them too. But yeah, man, I don't know. Have you seen this, Dan? Have you even heard of this?
No, I haven't, and I'm curious. So it was a guy who was reincarnated as a young girl,
right? So it's a very successful businessman, and then he gets reincarnated as like a little baby orphan girl.
Okay, the interchanging of his and her the whole time was throwing me off there. I was like, what's
that's
going on?
fair. I try to say them, but it's like it's hard. It's hard.
Well, no, it's all good. I mean, if he's reincarnated as a girl and he acts, if he is a girl and he says she's a girl, like it doesn't matter, But I was just like, trying to follow her out. She said salary man, and then you're talking about some girl boxing up future Nazis, and I was like, all right, I gotta figure out what's
same
going on
person.
here.
Yeah, same person. But man, it's a fun watch. And honestly, Dan, like you're really good at finding like little shows like this that are just fun. It's also has a good story. It has a lot of strategy involved, but I think it's so fucking slept on. I think it's like a mid 7 on my anime list, but it's just not very popular. So give it a shot. The second season's coming out soon, yo.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'll get into my first show, and this might get some daggers pointed at my neck. But my first show that I'm picking is Sword Art Online by A1 Studios. Everybody knows this show. It's kind of like one of like the OG isekai. It's very, very popular. It's based on a light novel. Basically the premise is in 2022, so last year, thank God this didn't happen. A virtual reality massive multiplayer online role-playing game, or as we call it in the gaming space, VRMMORGP, called
Hey,
Sword
yo,
Art
what?
Online.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a mouthful, you know. Called Sword Art Online was released with the Nerve Gear, which is essentially a helmet you place on your head that connects your 5 senses to the game. Players can experience and control their in-game characters with their minds. This sounds so fucking cool. This is 85% of the reason I like the fucking show is because this just sounds fucking awesome.
It does. No joke.
Both the game and the Nerve Gear were created by an engineer named Akihiko Kayaba. On November 6th, when the game first released, 10,000 players logged into SAO's mainframe cyberspace for the first time, only to discover that they're unable to log out. Kayaba appears and tells the players they must beat all 100 floors of Eingrad, the steel castle which they basically live on, if they wish to be set free. He also states that if they die in the game, they're dead. And if anybody tries to remove the Nerve Gear from their head in the real world, they also die.
What a fuck boy.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But basically, the story follows the two main characters, Kirito and Asuna. And, you know, it being a light novel, they're obviously going to fall in love. As well as a bunch of supporting characters. Like, by the end of it, they have like a whole team of like, I think like 7-8 people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. The show is like, it's really tough to explain how it's so good at some parts and just so bad at others. Like it's bad writing. It's terrible writing. Inconsistent
Really?
pace. Yeah, it's at some points, dude, it's bad.
So I think me and you watched this. I mean, you watched it before this, obviously, but I mean, this was fucking yesteryear shit. But I think we came over your house for like a weekend, and I was drunk the entire time. That's just kind of roll when I go deep town.
We were pretty lit.
And we watched this, and I thought it was pretty good. I did like the aspect where they were just like picking up different characters, because it kind of gives me those like, it's definitely not One Piece level, obviously, but like where they're like they meet a new character and you don't know if they're going to pick them up and make them part of like the crew, right? So there's always a little bit of anticipation. But yeah, I remember this being a little bit better. Maybe because I was lit, but go ahead.
No, the first season is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
It does suffer from a lot of the isekai classic tropes. We have a attractive looking black-haired antagonist who's kind of a bad boy. And every woman he meets just falls in love with him. And I hate that shit. I hate that shit. This is why I don't watch half the isekais, is because it's all the same fucking plot. But I watched this before I knew that. And I was like, oh, this guy's got it. He's the Riz King in today's words, you know, like he's got it in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
But the first season's fantastic. The second season is god awful. Basically, Asuna is, you know, the main female. She's a fucking badass. Like she's like general of her clan, like can kill monsters all day. Total badass with a rapier. And in the second season, she gets trapped in a bird cage. And they make her super weak and super desperate and super scared and totally destroy her character.
Ah, shit.
Which,
okay.
Second season sucked. Third season was pretty cool. Basically, this is after they get out of the game and everything like that. And there's a game called Gun Gale Online where the players actually compete for real money. and these massive like gun-based tournaments instead of being a fantasy world like Sword Art Online is. It's like something out of Star Wars where everybody's got guns and shit and like laser swords. It's fucking badass.
Okay. I like that.
But basically, this second season's okay. There is a bad guy who is killing people in the game and they're dying in the real world and nobody knows why. So Kirito goes into the game to figure that out. And yet again, he meets another babe who falls in love with him. Obviously, because that's what he does. He's an isekai character.
Black-haired isekai character. I've heard you bring that up so many times when I guess like me or Dan, I'm sorry, me or Tyler, you're Dan, bring up, watching like a new isekai, you're like, does he have black hair? Is he good looking?
I fucking hate it, dude.
I'm putting this together now, guys. I'm learning with you. I'm learning with you, the audience.
Oh no, this is the isekai trope, dude. Every isekai's got a harem in it. It's just what they do.
Yeah, it really is though.
And then the last season that came out, Alicization, was fucking top notch. So like, it's just so inconsistent when it's good and it's bad. But like, I just love the show. Like, this is one of the few animes that made me tear up. There's a part where they find a person who is basically just lives in the game full time, and it turns out that she is dying of cancer. And she's in this like super badass nerve gear system so she can like have life support and live in the game. And it gets to the point where
fucking awesome. Yeah.
And it gets to the point where she's gonna pass away, and it's fucking heartbreaking, dude. And
that's
yeah,
heavy.
I remember I rewatched part of this like earlier this year, and I just remember like, God damn it, why am I about to cry right now for a fucking cartoon? But it
sometimes they get you, man. They really do.
Damn, dude, it really tears the emotions. There's a lot of emotionally charged parts in this series, which is great. But yeah, it's really well enjoyed, but it's a crock of shit. With some of the parts, dude. It's like the highs and lows are too far apart.
Okay.
So that's my mid anime that I fucking love.
And that's really interesting. It's like, so yours is really popular, but you think there's some really low points. But I think Tanya is not popular at all, but is pretty much gassed the entire way through. So that's really interesting. We have those two differences right there.
Yeah, I'm actually I kind of want to check it out because I love anime that's not based in like feudal Japan or something like that. Like I love Cyberpunk Edge Runners because it's based in like some crazy ass futuristic GTO city.
Right.
So like
definitely check this out,
GTA.GTO.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to check that out.
For sure. So guys, I have something that we actually reviewed months and months and months ago. ReZero, or Re-Life in a Different World from Zero. It's the 2016 anime produced by White Fox, adapted from the manga of the same name written by Taipei Nagatsuki. So it's another isekai. I think there's a running theme here right now. I wonder if Dan's going to break it. But so our main character is dropped into another world full of magic while he is out getting groceries. So at first he's excited to be in his own isekai because he knows what it is. He's from Japan. He follows anime. But eventually he finds out he has no superpowers. He has no powers whatsoever except for one. After death, he starts back at a checkpoint, usually at the beginning of the day or the beginning of an event. I thought this anime started off extremely mid, ended up loving it by the end of season 1, thought it was great. I think Dan had to watch it as too. I think it was one of our first looks when we first started this podcast.
Yeah, I think I've watched 11 or 12 episodes of it before I went like, all right, I'm over this.
So like at least the first, to me, the first 10 episodes are pretty mid. It's very repetitive because his power is he comes back after death, and he has to restart. So if you don't like the current scenario he's in, or he's having a hard time getting through it and it's obvious, it's repetitive. But as he grows as an MC, he becomes more bold, more cunning, and his villains become less straightforward, or say he can't figure out who the villain is, it becomes a lot better. And you also he also has a problem where, he remembers everything. So he has that psychological part where he has to go into a situation where he just died maybe a day ago and he was like gutted or something, right? And you would freeze up. Any normal person would freeze up, but after a while he starts to overcome that and be more analytical in those situations. So, out of all of the first looks that we've done, this is probably, I think, the only one where I continued on to finish the season. I think that says a lot. Um, I don't know if it's mid to a lot of people, but to me, someone that doesn't, if you don't hook me in the first 6 or 7 episodes, I'm done. I would say if that happened to you with this show, give it a little bit more time. It gets better. A lot of the characters at first are annoying. There's a little red haired girl's name. I can't remember her name, but I'm sure you remember her, Dan. She was just like squealing and yelling the first 7 or 8 episodes.
I'm trying
When
the cat girl thing, blonde hair.
she was a little red haired girl when they met at like it was like the first checkpoint with like the.
I can't remember.
Good for you, man. I wish I couldn't either. But yeah, it's. I thought overall it got better and better. By the end of the season, I thought it was one of the better first seasons of an anime I've seen. But yeah, it was it was so brutal to get through at first. So I just kind of made it through the mud. I don't really know what else to say about it, man. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was a show that like I can see the premise being good, but it's just not for me. So
Right.
like the fact that you watch like the first 5 episodes and it's an episode's worth of content because he just relives the same thing 4 times.
It's
And
brutal,
that
man.
and I think even like the next 6 episodes are all the same shit over and over and over again. And like if you're into that, that's really cool. But as somebody who likes to watch a plot progress and not progress 4 different ways until one of them finally works.
Yes. So I would say, summer 2023, if you like a lot of this coming out right now, probably not the time to watch it. There's plenty to watch right now. If it gets later in the year, beginning of next year, and we don't have like a dozen bangers to watch, or you don't have much on your list, give it a shot if you got some time. Like Dan said, I think we spend the first 10 to 11 episodes on just 2 or 3 scenarios. So I completely understand where you're coming from, bro. It's a valid point, and that was my problem with it. And then I think around episode 13 or 14, I was just hooked. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff. I think season 2 is coming out later this year or next year.
Next year.
Next year. Okay, I know it got announced. So
Yeah, so a lot of people were afraid because it came out in 2016. Like Tanya came out in 2017. We did not think we were gonna get we were getting nervous about getting another season. So
yeah, COVID really just destroyed the anime release schedule. I mean, so many anime were like postponed and put on a hiatus and everything else for like weeks at a time. And I think a lot of the bangers, studios just realized they should probably just wait till everything blew over. That way they didn't have that problem.
yeah, it's hard to coordinate things like this when you when you can't go to the office or can only go in the office a couple of days a week.
Definitely. All right. So my next show is my number 1 B tier show. And I really like this show. I haven't watched in a while, so I got to go back and rewatch it. It's a Kame ga Kill. Basically, the plot is Night Raid is a covert assassin branch of the Revolutionary Army, an uprising assembled to overthrow Prime Minister Honest, whose avarice and greed for power has led him to take advantage of the child emperor's inexperience. Without a strong and benevolent leader, the rest of the nation is left to drown in poverty, strife, and ruin. Though the Night Raid members are all experienced killers, they understand that taking lives is far from commendable, and that they will likely face retribution as they mercilessly eliminate anyone who stands in the revolution's way. This merry band of assassins' newest member, Tatsumi, a naive boy from a remote village who has embarked on a journey to help his impoverished hometown, and is won over by not only Night Raid's ideals, but also their resolve. Akame ga Kill follows Tatsumi as he fights the Empire and comes face to face with powerful weapons, enemy assassins, challenges to his own morals and values, and ultimately what it truly means to be an assassin with a cause.
Okay.
Banger plot right from the start. So, like I said, the main character, he's a boy named Tatsumi, and he joins Night Raid, which is an organization of assassins, including Akame. I think it's Mine or Mine. I don't remember how they pronounce it. Leone, Lunek, or Lubbock. I typed that wrong. Chelsea, Bulat, and Shield. All these characters are incredibly diverse. Like, incredibly diverse. Like, this is a ragtag team of weirdos, which makes
That's
it really
exciting.
fun. It makes it really fun.
So you get like those really like wacky interactions because they are so different.
Yeah, I mean, Bulat is like a badass warrior, but he's gay and has a pompadour.
Interesting. that is interesting.
Definitely. And like Mine's got like this crazy ass sniper like rifle with like multiple forms and all this kind of stuff. It's just really cool. The reason I have it as my favorite B tier anime is because the plot was, while really good, it was one of those shows where it got ahead of the manga and they just butchered the ending.
Dude, it's always tough when that happens.
They pulled a Full Metal Alchemist, the original.
You took the words out of my mouth. Sometimes they have to remake those. So
they got ahead of the manga. I think it was like chapter 18 is when it kind of went both ways, and the ending wasn't that good in my opinion. But the action in this shit is badass. The characters are all really fun, and it is gory. This is like, I think it came out in like the early 2000s, maybe like early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
This shit's brutal, dude. Like, action, blood, gore, savage killing.
You don't get that much. I'm gonna say relatively older anime. It doesn't usually get that gory.
It was 2014. So still,
okay. Yeah.
Still, that was before like this new trend with like.
It's gotten crazy, bro. It's actually gotten nuts.
But I really enjoyed this show. But yeah, the plot at the end just really killed it for me. It's kind of up.
So was it mid before it got to the end, or was it A tier? Was it up?
I'd probably give it like a 7.
Ooh, okay.
Through like 8 episodes or whatever, and then it drops down to like a 5.5.
Okay, 7's nothing to sneeze at either.
No, that's a good rating for me. I mean,
yeah.
I just like I said, I haven't watched it in years, but it's always when I come back to it, I'm like, no, that is a fucking good B tier anime in my opinion. It's kind of like, I think Overlord's a B tier anime, even though that's a really popular isekai, because the writing is okay. The reason that everybody loves this anime is there is a character. She is one of the, I'm going to call her a bad guy, but she's not really a bad guy because she's on the team of the Empire, which is technically not a bunch of assassins, but Mommy as Death.
Mommy as excuse me?
As Death, dude. As Death. Just Google a picture of her right now.
Okay.
She's bad. She's bad, dude.
Oh my god.
And she is a complete like a dominatrix. She basically falls in love with Tatsumi, the main character.
Oh my god, Dan.
And wants to like keep him as a pet. Like, she's that level of bonkers.
Okay.
And it leads to some really funny interactions, but she's terrifying. She is so fucking strong.
5'7", 163 centimeters of terror.
She would step on all of us. No problem there.
I'm sensing that Dan might let her though.
I probably would. I think Tyler would too. I know Tyler really enjoyed this anime. But yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch it and then read the ending in the manga and see how it changes, and see if the manga ending is that much better. But it basically like everybody dies. Every fucking character dies.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it goes brutal. Everybody dies. Like, the cast you fall in love with just gets slaughtered one after another. Like, it's like, damn. Yeah, often.
No one wants to see that shit. Not everybody. Goddamn.
It's not often you see an anime where the entire cast just killed off one after another, you know? Like, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen often. If you're new to anime and you follow AOT, this is not normal. That's not how that shit normally goes. It usually ends up a little bit better than that. So
Well, they don't even kill off everybody in AOT. I mean, not like this.
A lot of motherfuckers. Oh, it go harder than that. Damn.
Okay, so I'm saying I listed what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in Night Raid, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I think there's 1 or 2 left by the end of it.
There's some savages over there.
And the main character dies.
Jesus Christ. Man.
Yeah. No,
the main character dies? You caught me off guard with that, dude.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure he dies, and it's just like everybody's dead, and it's like, wow, why did I watch this? Why did I watch this if this is gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
But the action in it was fucking awesome, dude. Really top tier violence. Which, who doesn't like that, you know?
Who doesn't like a little violence? I'm usually there for the boxing. I love a good story. You got to have one, but the boxing is just like some spice on the top, you know?
So, like, if you're a fan of Chainsaw Man, JJK, like Demon Slayer with all the action, this is an anime for you. 100%. Sorry for spoiling and letting you know everybody dies, but...
Tough. That's tough.
It came out 9 years ago. I got to pass on that one, right?
Yeah, I think you do, actually. I think you do.
Yeah, if it's over like 7 years old and you haven't seen it yet, that's not on me. That's on you guys.
Should have known.
Unless I know you're watching an old show, like we have some people in the Discord who are watching One Piece for the first time. So we will not spoil that to their face.
So the way to avoid spoilers, guys, is to join the Discord.
And tell us what you're watching. That really helps.
It really does.
It's like Tyler posted a TikTok of a One Piece character, and it was like a RIP kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, bro, does Deadly follow the TikTok? You got to delete this shit right now.
Yep.
He's like, oh, it's fine. He doesn't watch the TikTok. I'm like, good.
Right, bet.
Awesome. Well, I think that is it for our mid animes that we love. Unfortunately, Tyler wasn't here to give us his couple, like I said. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, make sure to tune in next Saturday when we drop a double header of both the weekly rundown with the finales of the 4 shows we're currently watching, as well as probably a less exciting One Piece episode. And the bullshit hour. I can't talk. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to join the Discord, linktree.com/Anime Degens. It's also in the bio. Bye.
Peace.